We are students at Tri-County Regional Vocational Technical High School. All of us are part of the Legal and Protective Services program, where we learn the laws in the legal parts of the field. We worked with multiple police officers who helped us select the most common frauds and scams happening in communities today. It is important to note that there is no shame in falling victims to these crimes. Even the smartest people can fall victims to these crimes.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Logan.
And we're going to be teaching you about phishing and ID theft. Phishing's basically, it's kind of like actual phishing where a scammer will try and bait you for your information. That way they can gain access to your accounts and they can defraud you. I don't know if any of you guys have seen something like this before. It can be used to gain access. It can be used to open up your accounts, defraud you. If someone says, like for instance, what's your hippie name, and you say your birthday is April 4th, then you would put Free Oak, and that is a way they know when your birthday is, and something like your birthday, it'll never change. So on all your accounts, it'll say the same, and when they gain that access, it's one step further for them to get to defraud you.
Not too long ago in the town of Franklin, in a phishing scheme, people were scammed for over $500,000. So they'll get you for big money.
This is how they'll get you. They can send you an email like this saying that there is a problem with your account and you need to verify it, or phone calls that say you need to verify something. A lot of the time with scams and different kind of scams and scammers, they try and get you while you're in a high state of emotion. That way you make bad decisions that you shouldn't make quicker. And something you have to watch out for is suspicious or wrong URLs. So like this right here, you may think that's going to bring you to a CDC website, but if you just hover your mouse over it, it'll actually show you where you're going to go instead. And so it'll either show you if you're actually going to go to the website you think you're going to, or a different website that maybe a scammer is trying to get you into. And another thing, like this looks very real, but another thing at the way top, it's not the right like email address.
Red flags. Some red flags for phishing is if people are asking for passwords, if they're asking security questions like the make and model of your first car or a first pet's name, and claiming your accounts are in trouble. So these scammers will claim that they are from Netflix or your bank, and they'll say that either your account's gonna get shut down if you don't give them this information or stuff like that.
This is what to do when you get these phone calls or emails or text messages that you're suspicious about. You'd be suspicious about those hyperlinks, the blue links that were on the other slide in emails, or you can call the company and confirm the authenticity of text message or an email or whatever it is. If someone's calling you and saying that you need to pay this amount of money to renew your account, and if you seem a little sketched out, you can call that company and they'll confirm it for you.
If you get distracted, your account can be subtracted.
Hi, my name's Caitlin.
And I'm Liam.
And we're going to be presenting the grandparent scam. So the grandparent scam is when scammers call random numbers throughout the night hoping to reach a grandparent who will answer the phone. And they normally say something like, grandma, grandpa, and then you'll say something like, oh, Billy, is that you? And you're giving the scammer a name to work off of. And they'll say something maybe like, I'm in jail and I need you to send me $10,000 to be bailed out.
There was a group of 8 crooks that collected over $2 million just over the course of 11 months running this specific scam.
So how they get you is they catch you off guard by calling really late at night when you're still pretty tired, just waking up from the phone call. They create a stressful situation by saying they're in jail and they really need the money to be bailed out that second. They explain why their voice is unfamiliar, like saying their nose is broken or they have a cold. And then they make you feel special or trusted, saying, please don't tell mom and dad, I knew I could only tell you about this.
Things to look out for. Probably the biggest thing is the urgency, the fact that they need the money right away when they try to be like, I need this right now. You can't tell anyone. Secrecy is another one, like Caitlin said. But it's mostly the urgency that you want to look out for, the fact that they need it right there, right then, and you can't like authenticate the situation with the parents, for example.
What to do, you can ask them questions only your grandchild would know, like maybe what school they go to or the name of their pet. And then you can always just hang up and call a family member to confirm the situation.
Scammers running this specific scam can make over $10,000 just off of one phone call. On average, they get about 1 in 50 people to get onto their scam. So they call about 50 people and only one of them usually like catches onto it. They tend to target people over the age of 65 because you're more likely to have grandkids. And sometimes people that fall victim to this specific scam don't come forward about it because they feel stupid, which is not the case at all. Anyone can fall victim to a crime like this.
Grandkids in a bind, try to keep a clear mind.
I'm Shaylin. I'm Nova. We're doing online transactions. This includes places like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, Venmo, and PayPal.
In 2020 alone, there was $10 million in losses associated with payment apps.
How they get you? So when you're buying things on those sites like Facebook Marketplace, you could see too good to be true deals. So if you see something that's usually expensive and it's a really good deal, it could be a sign of a scam. And this can heighten your emotions and give you a sense of urgency to want to buy this item.
Some red flags to look for would be incomplete profiles. This includes if an account doesn't have a profile picture or they don't have their name on their account. Bizarre grammar and word usage, a lot of the time that goes with incomplete profiles. A lot of the time scammers aren't from this country, so they might not speak proper English. And then, like Nova said, too good to be true deals. If 10 people are selling something, someone's selling it for 20, and the other 9 people are selling it for 100, there's probably something not right with the product that you're buying.
More red flags would be trading. So when you're trading, you want to be careful because you don't know if the item you're getting works or if it's of the best quality. And strange payment methods, which are explained on the next slide.
Strange payment methods would be overpaying you and asking you for cash back, or just moving money around through like payment apps, or using gift cards as payments.
What to do? Always compare prices. Never give up private info. So if you're selling something and they ask for your address, never give them your address right away. Make sure to go to like a more public place. End the deal if you see any of the red flags. And ignore Venmo requests from people that you don't know.
If it's too good to be true, don't let them scam you.
Hi, I'm Avery,
And I'm Sam.
and we're doing romance and companionship scams.
So the romance and companionship scam is when you meet someone online, say you get a message on, Facebook or Instagram, or even through like a dating website, and you start talking to this person and building a relationship and, think you're making a real connection with somebody. Well, it turns out sometimes the person on the other end can just be a scammer who's just kind of building this fake relationship to get close to you to hopefully get your money or private information.
Scammers will create a close relationship with you over time. They will manipulate your emotions, taking advantage of your generosity, and they will guilt trip you when asking for money, oftentimes saying maybe they're stuck overseas and they need money to get back, or their grandchild is at the hospital and they need help paying for their medical bills.
Some red flags to look out for that could tell you that the person you're talking to is maybe trying to scam you is if they are always avoiding meeting up in real life or doing any like video chat like FaceTime, because like they can send pictures, but pictures can just be taken from the internet, so you really have no way to know if that's actually them. Another red flag is if it's more of like a romantic thing, if they're confessing their love for you super early on into the relationship. That's actually a common tactic that scammers use to try and get super close to you very quickly so you feel more comfortable sending them money or your information. Also, this is a more obvious one, if they're ever threatening towards you or talk about how they could use this information to like blackmail you into giving them things, and you should obviously end communication with that person. Another red flag, sudden urgent financial needs. If, they're always asking for money or just once saying, oh, all of a sudden I need money for my grandson, then that's a sign that they could just be using you for money.
Or red flags. If they ask you to pay for things often, if you look at their online profile and they have no photos or followers, if someone is scamming you, they might not only ask for money, they might ask for important information for bank accounts or something like that, or expensive items.
What to do if you're not sure about someone you're talking to online, if you have concerns, if you have concerns that they could be a scammer, or just you don't have any concerns, but it's always better to be safe, just ask a friend or a family member to see if, the situation seems legit.
Cut communications if any of the red flags are present, and keep your social media profiles on private so that scammers will have a harder time reaching you.
If they ask for your money, they ain't your money.
I'm Rihanna,
I'm Hope.
I'm Nate.
and we're doing the latest fads.
One of the popular scams is charity scams. It's usually someone calling from some charity that sounds far too good to be true, asking for a donation, and they're often very forceful. They'll try to play with your emotions and get you to feel a lot of sympathy for the group that they're trying to get a donation for. Oftentimes they'll, again, like I said, force you to make a donation. The best thing to do is to hang up and find an official source that you can donate your money to. They will always take your donations. They'll never reject donations. You can always donate at a later date. There's disaster relief scams with the hurricanes that had happened very recently last year. People calling from somewhere like the Red Cross asking for donations. Again, they're going to try to pressure you to donate, but you really have to make sure that you're careful. And if you do want to donate, it is best to find a proper place to donate, like the official websites, and a place like Check a Charity will give you a bunch of resources on how to help. And government programs, stuff like the COVID relief and student debt relief, are very popular scams. Many people are finding them and making it in. It is very easy for them to create scams based on this, so you have to be very careful with it. Cryptocurrency is a very difficult thing. There are plenty of legitimate cryptocurrencies, but there are also a bunch that are just Ponzi schemes. So you really have to be careful and make sure you only invest in it if someone that is trusted with your finances or knows a lot about finances tells you to.
Congratulations! You just won a trip to Fiji. All you have to do is pay your taxes by entering your bank account information. Now, do not do that, because as I'm not sure about you, a trip to Fiji sounds absolutely amazing, but the second you give away your information, your bank account information, that money is gone. And you don't got a trip to Fiji either.
How they'll get you, they'll sound very official over the phone, like they're the head of a charity or organization. They'll play with your emotions and they'll tug at your heartstrings. For example, like the natural disasters that were happening, they'll try and call you and try to get you to donate to whatever fake charity they have going on.
Some red flags. Some of those red flags may include an unfamiliar company, whether one that you've never heard of at all or that sounds kind of similar to one. High pressure or guilt for donating. No charity is going to guilt you or pressure you into donating. They're not going to be like, no, you have to donate today or else. And no, none of the charities will do that. No tax deductible proof. That's basically a canceled check, credit or debit card, or just any acknowledgement from the charity that you have donated. And request wired money or cash. They might do this because it's much easier to cover up cash or wired money rather than a credit card or a debit card, because with a credit card or a debit card, you can see that X amount of dollars have been donated to another person.
What you want to do if you spot any red flags, you definitely want to hang up and call the official number. But if you're unsure if the charity is legitimate or not, there's a bunch of websites you can go to, like Hope said, Check a Charity. You can go there to find out if it's legitimate or not.
If they called you first, you could be coerced.
I'm Jonah, and this is Ian, and we had fake government officials. What we mean by that is a fake company or a fake government agency will call you, text you, email you about your account with them and just take money basically.
To put into scale how large these scams are, bank fraud scams increased by 39% in 2021 compared to 2020.
Official agencies and companies will normally, or almost always, send out a letter before branching out forms of contact to email, call, text, whatever. And you can also compare a letter that you receive to the, like, if you go to their official website, they might have a sample letter of one they've sent out in the past, and you can compare your current letter to that letter.
How they get you, they'll use intimidations and threats to put fear into you. They'll act all professional. They'll be like the big scary IRS that is intimidating and claim that they'll send police to your house if you don't do this or that with their demands.
Some red flags include law enforcement threat. They will never threaten to send law enforcement to your house if you do not pay this. Use of strange payment like gift cards. IRS or someone never use a gift card as a form of payment. Excessive pressuring, making you feel nervous, scared, whatever. They don't give official info, like if they know a security question or something, and they will also never ask you for your info, like your password, while on the phone with them. And no agency will use emotion by making you feel scared, sad, nervous, whatever.
What to do? Don't trust the caller ID.
Caller ID is the number or name that pops up when someone is calling you, and it can be faked in many ways.
You can hang up. If any official agency were to call you, they would just call back. You can ask for information they have, like you could give your postal code and they would give you your mailing address. You can also just call the official number and be like, hey, what's up? Is this real? Is there something I gotta do, or is this a scam? And then lastly, you can not answer the phone, because if there was any issue, they just mail you a letter. It's the same as hanging up. If they seem suspicious, they might be malicious. To recap, scammers will distract you and scammers will manipulate you with your emotions.
Be suspicious. If you have heightened emotions like excitement, fear, love, or guilt together with the pressure or urgency to give money or information, you might be scammed.
Before you reply, verify.
I have a question. What do you know about people taking fake Facebook profiles and then, like messaging you and sending you links? I just got some today. There were 3 or 4 people who had their identity stolen, and then they were messaging me on my Facebook account. I knew right away it was mine.
Yeah, so a lot of times with that, people will make like a whole new account on any social media platform, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, etc., and then they can go onto Google, and say if you want some handsome guy from Google, then they just pick one that's favorite, one that looks attractive, one that gets your attention. They put the Google profile as into their account along with a nice description, try their best to make it look all legitimate, and then they'll just go around clicking on different names of different women, or sometimes men, because men can also get scammed, and they'll send out messages that way.
What organization are you with, and how long have you been studying this? I missed the whatever.
We're from Tri-County Regional Vocational Technical School, and in our shop, we're Legal and Protective Services, and we've been going over this for, like 4?
Well, you've been giving a presentation for several months.
Yeah, we've been doing this presentation for several months and studying this topic for even longer, so.
Are you juniors or seniors or what?
We are juniors, yes.
You're all juniors.
Mm-hmm.
So will you continue into the same program next year?
So we'll stick in Legal and Protective Services, but the topics we'll cover may change as time goes on.
Question, early on in the presentation, there was the slide about the hippies.
Oh,
I didn't understand what
someone that we
Could someone take this and explain this? Someone new?
So basically,
That's okay.
the hippie name, it's not always a scam, but scammers can use it to, like my birthday is December 6th, so if I got this, say, from a scammer, and I filled it out and I put Shining Bud, then that scammer would know, oh, that this person's birthday is December 6th, and that's a way that they can gain access to my accounts, because a lot of the time your accounts, when you sign up for them, you put in like your birthday, so.
It's one example. There's a lot of different types of these things where, it might be you find your elf name around the holidays, or or some other kind of
you mean
thing.
like Facebook?
Yeah.
We have those kind of things.
Yes. People do it all the time,
Okay.
or often
Yes.
it
Okay.
allows you to release the name of your pet, or your high school mascot, or one of these other challenge questions that when you open a bank account, sometimes you have to give that to release your password in case you forget your password. You have to say the make and model of your first car, or your high school mascot. So most people forget that they gave that information to their bank many, many years ago when they opened an account, because it's only if they need to release information. So these types of things, I see people fall for all the time. And it might be, what was the #1 song of the Billboard Top 100 on your birthday? And then you click on a thing and you find what the answer is, and you say, oh, it was the Bee Gees, and then it only takes someone a second to do the reverse code to find out what your birth date is.
Yeah, okay, I think I didn't understand that it was like Facebook quizzes.
Yeah,
So
those
once
types
you
of
said
things.
that, I got it.
There's all different types of versions of it, but I see people typing into the void private information because they think it's a funny game or something.
Yeah, I used to do them, and
Yeah.
I don't do them anymore.
Any other questions?
Well, thank you so much. This was really interesting.
Thank you for having us.